Hi college. Okay, this video contains solutions to score analysis piece number 1 and piece number 2. So please take out your music for piece 1. We'll do that first, and take out your answer key sheet, the multiple choice questions. And this is Bela Bartok's Bulgarian rhythm number 115 from Microcosmos. What you want to do is read through the questions carefully and maybe underline keywords. Number 1, keyword being opening. Number 2, meter. 3, meter classification. 4, the measure number. Measure 21 is what we're concerned about. And accidental. Number 5, the order of melodic intervals. Upper, measure 6. Question 6. Okay, from the opening, stress pattern. Metrical stress pattern. First switches. Number 7 returns to that of the opening pattern. Again, a metrical stress question. Number 8, Bartok's opening melody consists of whole and half-step motions stretched between what interval? Number 9, texture. 2 notes to 3 notes beginning at measure. And number 10, lowest sounding note. Okay, so let's go back to number 1. The opening metrical stress pattern of this work is, well, that's a meter question, so you have to look carefully at the meter, and we're in 5/8. Because we're in 5/8, we can eliminate A, we can eliminate D. So our possible choices are B and C. Now we have to look at the groupings. If it was B, we would have strong, weak, weak. If it was C, we would have strong, weak, weak, strong, weak. So let's check out what the music tells us at the opening. Keyword, opening. We have 3, group of 3, followed by a group of 2. The metrical stress pattern is strong, weak, weak, strong, weak. So the answer to number 1 is C. Number 2, the meter of this work can be best described as, well, we determined it was 5/8. 5/8 is not compound, because anything compound is 6 or greater. Weak is a bogus answer. Odd is the best answer. We have a group of 2 and then a group of 3. And also in this piece, a group of 3 and a group of 2. So that is odd meter. The formal meter classification of this work, however, is, hopefully you put B, simple quintuple, quintuple meaning 5, 5 beats to the measure. It's not compound, because it's not greater than 6, and it's not simple duple. Something like simple duple would be a 2 on top for its time signature. Number 4, in measure 21, the first accidental is called, let's examine measure 21. Hopefully you realize that on the left-hand side of each system we have the measures. Here's the one we want, and we're talking about that right there in parentheses. That's called a cautionary accidental. It's to remind us that we need to play a G sharp there. So when you see an accidental in parentheses, it's called a cautionary accidental right there. Number 5, what is the order of melodic intervals for the upper staff in measure 6? Take a look at measure 6. The order of melodic intervals in the upper staff. This is our upper staff right here. This is what we're concerned about, measure 6. The order would be, well, let's see. C to B, minor second. B to A, major second. A to B flat, minor second. B flat to G, minor third. So now we go back to our choices. It's a minor second, major second, minor third. The correct answer for number 5 is C. Question 6. From the opening, the metrical stress pattern first switches at what measure? What I would do is circle each of those measures, 5, 9, 12, and 31. So we can go ahead and do that so we know we're looking at the correct ones. Here's 5, 9, 12, and then 31. Probably not going to be 31 because 31 is close to the end. Okay, we can eliminate 31 right away because it's 3 plus 2. And the opening is 3 plus 2. We have that strong, weak, weak, strong, weak. That's 3 plus 2. Okay, so eliminate number 31. Let's look at measure 5. That's a 3 plus 2, so it stays the same. And here's measure 9. We have a 2 plus 3. That's the grouping. So you have to look at the groupings for that to answer that question. For number 7, this was, in my opinion, the hardest one by far. So far, I should say. This is more of an AP style question. So the short answer is that the correct answer is C. The metrical stress pattern returns to that of the opening pattern between measures 17 through 29. You can eliminate measures 21, the choices that start with measure 21, simply because it doesn't go back to the other grouping. So that's the short answer of that one. Number 8, Bartók's opening melody consists of whole and half step motions stretched between what interval? So the opening melody, let's check out the opening melody. So here we are. So it looks like we have a G, whole and half step motion right here. Now I would stop there and see that we have a G to a C. However, a perfect fourth is not one of the choices, which means we should probably keep going. And what we find is we have the G to the C sharp, which is indeed a tritone. You can eliminate an augmented fifth. It's not a fifth. G to a C is a fourth of some type, so you can eliminate choice C. You can eliminate B because we don't see a sixth there. And we don't see a perfect fifth. A perfect fifth would be G to D, let's say. So the correct answer would be D, a tritone. That's the opening melody that's stretched between those intervals. G up to a C sharp. C sharp being the highest note there. G being the lowest. Number 9 is a texture question. So number 9, the texture of this piano work increases from 2 notes to 3 notes beginning at measure. And our choices are measure 5. We've circled it already. I only see 2 notes played simultaneously, so we can eliminate 5. Measure 29, right here. Okay, I do see 3 notes played simultaneously, 2 in the left hand and 1 in the right hand. So it could be 29. Measure 18. Here's 18. I'm only looking at 2 notes played simultaneously. So we can eliminate 5 and we can eliminate 18. Measure 24. Here's measure 24. Measure 24 has 3 notes sounded simultaneously. That means it's between measures 29 and 24. Well, if you read the question carefully, it increases from 2 to 3 notes beginning at. So we want the first one, which means the correct answer for 9 is D. Beginning is the key word. So 9 would be D. 10. The lowest sounding note in this work is found in what measure? So examine the measures, 24, 26, 29, 31, all towards the end. Let's go to 24. Okay, circle your lowest note, identify the note and the octave identification. That looks like it's an F2. The next measure we should look at is 26, right here. We can eliminate that one right away because we know an F2 is lower than the A flat that we see there in the bass. So 26 is out of the question. 29, let's take a look. 29, way too high in the bass clef there. that E is too high. So far, our best response is A, measure 24. Let's check out measure 31. That's the penultimate measure, which means the second to last measure of the work. And we're looking at a D, which is too high. The correct answer is the first measure we looked at, the F2. So the correct answer for number 10 is A. And so those are the solutions for piece number 1. What I'd like to do now is take a listen to the actual piece while you follow your music. And what I strongly advise you to do in the future, if you didn't do it this time, is really listen to the piece a few times. Listen to the piece once or twice before answering any of the questions, but after reading the multiple choice questions, maybe mark down some things in the score, and then, refer back to it, listen to it again if you have to during the course of answering the questions, and then maybe one final time when you're done answering all the questions to sort of check over your work. Because answering these questions without listening to it could lead you in the wrong direction for the correct answer. Okay, let's listen to Bela Bartok's Bulgarian Rhythm number 115 from Microcosmos. Okay, college, let's move on to piece number 2. This is Bela Bartok's Bagatelle, Opus 6, number 2. I'd like you to take a listen to it and follow your music while I underline some key words that we have in the multiple choice questions. Take a listen. Okay, number 1, the opening meter of this bagatelle can be described as all of the following except, let's take a look at the meter, shall we? 2-2. Did you see it? It's right there. Let's go back and see what our choices are. 2-2 we know is simple duple. It is à la brève. À la brève means cut time. The correct answer is D. Question 2, the opening melodic interval. Melodic should actually be harmonic. The opening harmonic interval in the upper staff is right here. We're looking at an A flat to a B flat. That's a major second. C is the correct response for number 2. Number 3, the opening interval in the upper staff is, and we know it's B. It's not melodic. If you listen to the recording, you can clearly see that there's that major second happening at the same time. Sounds like chopsticks. So it is definitely harmonic. Complex is bogus. It's not compound because it's less than an octave. And it's not melodic because they're not played consecutively. They're played simultaneously. Number 4, the first 2 notes on the lower staff in measure 5. Find measure 5. The first 2 notes are the lower staff of measure 5. So we're dealing with the E double flat to a D flat. Perhaps you didn't realize that over here is treble clef. So hopefully you didn't read that as a G double flat to an F flat. It is indeed an E double flat to a D flat. An E double flat to a D flat is going to be a melodic minor second. So the correct answer for number 4 would be A. Number 5, Measure 7 contains all of the following except, let's see if we can find our harmonic third in measure 7. There's our harmonic third. We can rule out A. Measure 7 contains a change in clef. Right there. Did you spot that bass clef? We start out in treble, but then we go to bass. We can rule out B. Measure 7 contains articulation symbols. Yes, these dots are staccato markings, which means to separate the notes. We also have accents right here to strike the note a bit harder. So we can rule out C, which means, hopefully, there are no ties in measure 5. I'm sorry, measure 7. And there are no ties. If you're looking at this, well, that's not a tie. That's a slur. Slurs connect notes at different pitches. So the correct answer for number 7 is D. I'm sorry, for number 5 is D. Number 6, moving on. The time signature in this bagatelle can be classified as which of the following? So there's two choices, which means you have to look through the music carefully and determine where the meter changes and identify the meter classifications for both. So let's see. We start out, we know, in 2-2. So let's see what we can rule out. We can rule out C. It's not simple triple. It's going to be simple duple and something. Let's see where the time signature changes as we travel along through the piece. And we notice right here in measure 10, we have 3-2. Let's go back. Simple duple and simple triple. It goes from 3-2, 2-2 to 3-2. Simple duple to simple triple. So the correct answer for 6 is A. Number 7, an example of melodic tritone exists. Let's look at measure 9 in the upper staff. Here's measure 9. Do we see a melodic tritone? In other words, an A4 or a D5? No. I see some augmented primes, some thirds. I don't see an A4 or a D5. Measure 4 of the lower staff is our choice for B. Here's measure 4, lower staff. Nope, I see a 6th. I see 6th, and there's a 7th there. So, nope, we can cross out B. Let's go back. Let's look at measure 24, the lower staff. Here's measure 24. Lower staff. Let's zoom in right here. Okay, I have a 3rd. I have a 4th. And I have a 4th. This could be a tritone, if I look carefully. It looks to me like it is a tritone. There's our tritone right there. So the correct answer is 7C. If you're uncertain, because there's one more choice left, check out measure 16 in the upper staff. Let's do that. Thirds, thirds. Here's a 4th, but it's perfect. It's not augmented. And there is no tritone in measure 16. So the correct answer for number 7 would be C. Number 8, the last note in the lower staff. Let's head all the way to the end of the work. Last note in the lower staff. That's this one right here. Are you good at counting ledger lines? That happens to be B, which is a D flat 1. Very low. D flat 1 is choice B. You got to know your octave identifications for that question. Number 9, what is the interval of the first 2 notes of the upper staff in measure 21? Head over to 21. Right here. We're concerned with the first 2 notes which are right here. So we need to identify that interval, a B double flat to an A flat. That is going to be a minor second. Hopefully that's a choice. Yes, it is. We can rule out the rest. There's always a really difficult question, at least one difficult question in this score analysis, and I think number 10 is that one for this particular piece. Number 10 was difficult. When material presented in measures 3 through 6 reappear, the primary difference is a change in, look at your choices. We have melody, rhythm, articulation, and meter. The first thing we have to look at is measures 3 through 6 and see what's going on. Then we have to locate it in the music where it happens again, or at least something similar to measures 3 through 6. Let's examine 3 through 6. Right here. Okay, looks like I have dot 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 dot. I'm looking at this part right here. Dot 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 dot. Let me see if I can locate that again somewhere in the music. I don't see it anywhere in this line, or this line, or this line. I don't see it here. Okay, I see something here that looks very familiar. Dot 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 dot. All right, that looks very familiar, and so does the other hand of the piano. Okay, now let's go back, and I think I'm going to bracket this to keep that in mind. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to read the question. The question says, when the material presented in measures 3 through 6 reappears, the primary difference is, well, we've located where it reappears. Now let's look at our choices. Let's work from the bottom up. Meter. Well, in the beginning, we're in 2-2. Measures 3 through 6. In this section, which I think is the same, we're also in 2-2. So the meter we can rule out. The meter stays the same. Articulation. Let's look. We have staccatos markings and then a tenuto marking right here on the last note. Staccato markings, and we have a slur. So let's see what I have down here. I've got staccato markings, tenuto markings, staccato markings, and I have, there's my slur. All right, it looks to me like the articulation is the same. I'm going to rule that one out. Rhythm, let's see. So in measures 3, we have one hand doing dot 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 constantly. In the other hand, we have this dot 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 dot. Let's look and see. Here we have dot 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 in one hand. The other hand is actually doing dot 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 dot. Looks to me like the rhythm is staying the same. So we can cross out rhythm. Therefore, the only one that I think is left, and I think hopefully the answer is the melody. So let's check it out. The melody in 3 through 6. Dot 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 dot. Look at the notes. We're talking about melody now, not just rhythm. Okay, the melody here is actually in the lower treble clef. And here, the melody goes to the upper treble clef. Different notes. Here, the melody starts on a B and goes B, B, G, C, G flat. Here, the melody goes F, F, D flat, G flat, C. So, the melody is different. So number 10 is A. Tricky question. If you got that, good for you. That's just a quick review on some score analysis. We won't be doing videos like this for every score analysis. I wanted to just get you started, so now you can hopefully be more successful with it. And remember, I'm going to stress that it's really important to listen to the works a few times. Read the questions, listen to the work, write down some notes on the actual score itself. Feel free to mark it up as much as you'd like. And when you're all done answering the questions, listen to it again. Thanks for watching, college.